What is up, folks? Welcome back to the Supplement Copywriting channel. And one of these weeks, I'm going to surprise you guys and have a bougie, fully built out background with lights and pictures. And maybe I'll never get that. And I'll just keep you guys thinking that I'm recording this in some random person's basement, because that's kind of what it looks like with this background. But in today's video, what we're going to be looking at is the new wave of mini VSLs that are accounting for much higher return on ad spend, extremely high click-through rates, and a infinite scalability when it comes to split testing for e-com supplement companies. Now, if you don't know what mini VSLs are, don't worry. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what they are. I'm going to be telling you why they are so effective. And if you don't know how to write them, make sure to absolutely stick around to the very end of the video, where I'm going to be giving you a very simple mini VSL framework that I use to write most of these style of scripts for the clients that I work with. So you've inevitably seen mini VSLs on Instagram, Facebook, maybe TikTok, and they've been absolutely exploding. And there's lots and lots of e-com supplement companies that are exclusively pretty much using these in ads to scale their company to 50, 60, $100 million per year. So let's go ahead and dive into mini VSLs and what they are. And I mean, what would talking about VSLs be if I didn't have a fake doctor on there, right? Because you got to have those in most of your VSLs these days. But what is a mini VSL? So like I said, you've inevitably seen these on Facebook, Instagram, maybe TikTok. They're going to be shorter videos that have a big attention grabbing visual and verbal hook that gets you sucked into the video. And they are going to be mostly ads that run on the platform, but they're going to follow the exact same persuasive structure as a direct response VSL, but in a much shorter length. Now, your typical direct response VSL is going to be 30 to 45 minutes. If you have somebody who's really good, you can get away with like a 60-minute VSL, but it is a little bit more rare because the writing needs to be that much tighter. You really have zero room to lose people, where with these much shorter style of mini VSLs, you have a little bit more leeway because they're not as long. So you don't have as many opportunities to lose the reader. You can keep it short, tight, punchy. Each line should kind of feel like it's a little hit of dopamine for the person that just sucks them into the next line. And before you know it, the mini VSL is done and the person is clicking through to the advertorial. So the big thing is they are much, much shorter in length than your typical direct response, like 45-minute VSL. And more often than not, they're going to drive to an advertorial or a hybrid page. So the funnel is typically going to look like this for an e-com supplement company. It's going to be mini VSL. It's going to drive them to an advertorial or a hybrid page, and then a checkout page. Now, that is a few more steps than your average funnel. But one of the things that I believe is happening is with people kind of having a little bit shorter attention spans and the TikTokification of our brains, that kind of micro bite-sized content, then moving them to the next piece of the funnel is becoming increasingly more effective when it comes to acquiring customers on cold traffic. So with a mini VSL, they're typically going to run about 30 seconds to a minute 15 on the shorter side, and then 3 to 8 minutes on the longer side. And if you're remotely familiar with direct response copywriting or marketing, a 8-minute VSL is nothing to most people. They would laugh at it. But I've spoken to companies that are doing $50 to $60 million a year that are in the health and fitness and supplement niche with exclusively 8 to 9 minute mini VSLs that are driving people to advertorials. So this stuff works very, very well in the health, fitness, and e-com supplement space. Next, we need to look at, well, if they're shorter, why do mini VSLs work as well as they do? So I already kind of hit on this a little bit, but I think that it really caters to our shorter attention spans, our dopamine seeking behavior, and the TikTokification of our brain. We want short, punchy, dopamine driven style stuff. And with these videos, one of the things that you'll also find is that not only is the script short and the video short, but all the edits in between each scene and each line is also, it's very quick cut style videos. And that's what I think keeps people hooked. Also, one of the things that it does very well is it sells in a compressed time frame. So you still have a lot of the same direct response elements that persuade and sell people, but really what you're doing is you're just condensing it to 30 seconds to a minute 15 or 3 to 8 minutes on the longer side, which is still relatively short. I mean, most YouTube videos that people watch, and even the ones that I record and put out, are going to be longer than your average mini VSL. But one of the things that it does very effectively is by compressing and selling in that time frame, it makes it easier to not have the trip ups that you typically do with a long form VSL. So if you have a 45-minute script that you have to write, there's a lot more opportunities to lose somebody. There's a lot more opportunities for mistakes than there is a 30-second to minute 15 video. So that leads me into the next point of what makes these so effective. You don't need to have an A-list copywriter to create these like you do with a 45-minute VSL. So because you don't have this really long, drawn out video sales letter that has a 500-word lead and then has like a 2,000-word close and a huge FAQ, you don't need an A-list copywriter. You can have somebody who is okay at copywriting, understand the basic framework of a mini VSL, and be able to crank out a few of them a day. And then also, a lot of e-com supplement companies are adopting these because they are much shorter to edit. You can test them much quicker, and you can find a winner that scales at a much lower cost than a full-blown VSL. So to have a full-blown video sales letter that's 45 minutes, 60 minutes, to have it scripted and written by an A-list copywriter, then to record it and then to edit it, can be somewhere between like $25,000 to $40,000. That's a lot of cash for an e-com supplement company. And after that's even produced, they need to have all the ad budget to go split test that long form VSL too. So by being able to have these mini VSLs that can be edited, tested, and find a winner much quicker and at a lower cost, it opens up opportunities for smaller, quote unquote, e-com supplement companies to test a lot of these to find a winner and then to scale that. And so if you think about it, if you have a 30-second to minute 15 mini VSL that does really well and scales, well, you can then just take that and turn that script into a 3 to 8 minute VSL and see how that does. So it opens up the playing field to these more kind of like scrappy, get stuff out really quick e-com supplement companies. And I don't say that to be denigrating or anything along those lines, but I'm saying that because a lot of big direct response companies have a lot of money, and some e-com supplement companies don't have quite as much in the very beginning. So they're scaling very significantly using a much kind of scrappier approach and by being able to out-test other people in their same niche or industry. So that's a big element of it there. And then one of the other things is that there's lots of different styles of these mini VSLs to test. You have user-generated content ones that are like, clipped. You have ones with doctors. You have somebody who's narrating it. You have a first-person personal story. There's a lot of different styles of these mini VSLs to test. So not only can you split test a lot of the hooks, the offers, different elements of it, and things along those lines, you can also split test quite a few different styles of mini VSLs to find out what people in your audience are really resonating with and liking quite a bit. And then you can use that 3% rule that we've spoken about in previous videos, where you just make a 3% tweak to it and then try to recreate it and beat the original control that is winning and getting most of your ad spend right now. So that's why they're working so well. The last part of this all and kind of the payoff for the video is I'm going to be giving you guys a simple mini VSL structure that you can take and use today without having to be an A-list copywriter. It's really simple. A lot of this stuff is going to look very familiar, and that is why I think it's so effective. So the very first thing is there's lots of structures that you can use, but this is the easiest one to write. And so when you're writing this, what you really want to keep in mind is keep your sentences short and punchy. Treat each line kind of like it's a hit of dopamine for them. You want to give them just enough to keep their attention hooked and then get them to the next line. So what you're going to do when you start writing these is obviously start with your hook. Now, I personally like to write my hooks last. When I say start with your hook, that's just the very first part of the script. I don't mean you have to write it first. I go ahead and I like to write my script first. And then inside of the script, what I usually find is that there's a couple different hooks hidden in there that I go ahead and I make the hooks that we're going to put at the top. So when you're writing these, you want to think in style of TikTok style, punchy, short hooks that get right to it. And you're going to want to test at least 3 hooks per video, just so that way you can literally have the first 5 seconds of the video be switched up. Then from there, you essentially get 3 mini VSLs, each with their own hook, and you can see which one resonates and does the best. Then after you finish up the hook and you get them watching the video, you want to take them into the intro and the emotional appeal. So here, what you're just thinking about is pain points and symptoms that rehook their attention. You want this to be 2 to 3 lines. Make it short, make it punchy, get to the point. This is not a long drawn out thing. This is 2 to 3 sentences max. You're hitting them with pain points that rehook their attention. Then from there, you're going to get into the problem or the unique mechanism of the problem. So here, what you're going to do is potentially mention other things that they've tried that didn't work for them. And then you're going to explain the new and unique reason for their problem. So why didn't it work for them? Why did none of those things work? Well, they were all missing this one specific thing, or there's this one specific problem that none of those alternatives addressed. And so that's our unique mechanism of the problem. And this is no fluff. We're getting straight to the point. Like, you want to keep these sentences short and punchy. I'm going to say that a few different times because it's something that really bears reminding. So here, you're really just throwing rocks at the alternatives and then explaining the new and unique reason for that problem and why it hasn't been resolved for them. That is our unique mechanism of the problem. Then there, we're going to get into the solution or the unique mechanism of the solution. So you're going to introduce them to the unique mechanism of the solution. You're going to explain why it solves the unique mechanism of the problem. So if we framed it as, here's the unique mechanism of the solution, here's why it will solve this problem for you that nothing else has helped you to solve, then you're going to talk briefly about how it gets results. This should, again, be maybe 2 to 3 sentences. Keep it short, keep it punchy, get right to the point. This is not a direct response thing where you're droning on, you're getting short, you're getting right after it, you're getting to the point. Next, you're going to introduce the product. So short product intro, you want to tie it into the unique mechanism of the solution. Then we're going to talk about how it works. Sometimes this can literally be 1 sentence long, but you just want to give them a quick breakdown on how it works. So are there certain steps that they can take? Do they need to take 1 spoonful of it before bed? Do they need to rub the cream on their knee 15 minutes before they exercise? Just give them a short breakdown of exactly how it works and what they need to do to get the best results. Then from there, you're going to hit them with social proof to show them that other people just like them absolutely love this product as well. This can be screenshots, it can be testimonials, it can be, UGC video, whatever you guys have. Just hit them with some kind of social proof after the how it works section. Then last, we're going to have our urgency and our call to action. So you're going to include urgency and a call to action. Let them know maybe you're offering some kind of deal that isn't going to be around for much longer. Maybe you don't have a lot of bottles of this specific supplement left or something along those lines. You're going to let them know about any discount that they're going to get. You're going to give them the money back guarantee. And then you're also going to have a final call to action there. So this is a really, really simple framework that you guys can use. A lot of this stuff is going to look very familiar if you've done any copywriting or any marketing before. It's not anything new. It's really what makes it so effective in these short video scripts is the fact that you're keeping it short, you're keeping it punchy. And the thing that you really want to focus on when it comes to writing these is the hook. If you can get people hooked, no pun intended, with that first line, it is going to give you a big lift. And then from there, you want to make sure that your emotional appeal and your pain points and symptoms are something that people can relate to. So again, just like any other form of copywriting and marketing, you need to do your research. You need to understand what people want to avoid, what people want to achieve, what have they tried that didn't work for them. And one of the other things is in the how it works section, you want to make it very, very easy. So that's why it can be 1 sentence long. It's like, take 1 spoonful of this 30 minutes before you go to bed and you'll sleep better than you've ever slept in your entire life. Like, that can literally be it right there in the how it works section, right? And obviously for some things that are a little bit more complicated, you might need 2 to 3 sentences. Not a big deal. But again, we're keeping it short, we're keeping it punchy, we're getting right to the point, we're cutting out any and all fluff that we can in scripts like these. So this is the mini VSL. This is why it works. This is what it is. And there is a short framework that you guys can use to write them for your ecom supplement company. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions or there is anything that you would like to know, please go ahead and drop a comment. And if you have any brands you would like to see me break down their marketing or their copywriting or something along those lines, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know. I appreciate you guys for watching and stay tuned. I'll be back with another video next week. Adios.